Hey Peaches, I'm Eleanor and welcome to Peaches by Starlight Tarot. This is your weekly pick a card reading and I'm using the Raven's Prophecy and the Butterfly Oracle for your pick a card. So you can go ahead and think about whether you want to choose stack 1 or the blue Tang, stack 2 or the deer, stack 3 or the fox. There'll be timestamp below. Remember, this is a general reading, and so if you would like something personal, all tailored to your situation in an email format, my Etsy page is linked below where you can find those. And the way I have it set up is to where all my decks are listed, so you can choose the deck that resonates with you. You can choose more than one. You can add on an oracle. You can make it a small reading, a big reading. You're in control, and follow your intuition and your first impressions of what's calling to you. So while you're choosing which deck might be meant for you or which stack is meant for you, and it's timestamped below so you can check and skip right to it if you want. I felt drawn towards, for the weekly theme this week, towards the Four of Wands. This is the Tarot of the Secret Forest. That's the card right there. I felt drawn towards the present moment, back to where my power is. The only thing that's real. And so, I'm using How Now. There's some meditations to get back to the present. I'm going to choose 3 cards from there at the end of each pick a card. So you choose which one is for you now, and then which one of those will be for you at the end of the reading. And so the Four of Wands is a pause in the action. It's a smell the roses moment. It's a grounding and solidifying and unifying moment, designed to bring you back from destination addiction. Be here now. Celebrate every small victory, even if all that is like the greatest cup of coffee you've ever made. Or, yeah, so it's like be present with the taste and the smell and thank yourself for making it and for gifting that moment to you. Acknowledge the people that have crossed your path, that are intersecting with it, even if they're only intersecting with it today and they'll be gone tomorrow. Don't miss anything is the point. Okay, so like, share, and subscribe and all that stuff, all that good stuff. And let's get started. Okay, those of you who chose stack 1 or the fish, your theme for the week is join in. All right, and you have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Coins, the Hanged Man, and the King of Wands. All right, let's see. I'm really feeling a sense, I want to see the word aspiration, a sense of aspiration, wanting to become, wanting to mature. With the 2 aces, these are opportunities being rolled out for you. The thing about aces, though, they're stored potential energy. You get to choose what to do with them. And I'm hearing it's your turn. It's your time to shine. The aces feel like, though, with this Hanged Man, they're a few branches up in the tree. They aren't dangling down low-hanging fruit for you to grab standing on the ground. With the Hangman, you may have to level up and get up into that tree. That's where this join in comes in, I think. So these opportunities that offer brand new beginnings with potential for emotional fulfillment, friendship, love, that's with the cups. And then with the coins, they're talking about potential for prosperity, for income potential. They're there for you, but they aren't going to be delivered to your door on a silver platter. You may have to say yes to meeting new people, networking, and introduce yourself. That doesn't sound good to me. It could mean many things, but the key point is that these opportunities lie outside of your comfort zone. The growth potential here, if you climb that branch, grab that fruit, and then make the right choices with it, could bring you in contact with someone you look up to, or a mentor, someone who can direct you how to market yourself or your talent. There's a potential here for either a job opportunity or a relationship opportunity. It's kind of like just like meet and greet at this point. But you put these together and it brings the question, what did you want to be when you were a kid, when you grow up, when you saw yourself as an adult? You weren't thinking about how you were going to pay the bills, what had the most income potential. You were thinking about what would feel good to you, what would look like a good life to you, what would be a good identity to take on. And the King of Wands lives that. It's not just like, well, it pays the bills. Or it's great, you know, it's a great ego boost, but it doesn't make any money. Like a poet or an accountant, where's that thing where you get both that elusive emotional fulfillment and paying the bills? And that's where this King of Wands, that's what he rules over, the life that he's achieved. So when we grow up, we have to get down to earth, come down out of that tree and choose something that pays the bills. And so the Hanged Man, get back up in that tree and get back in there, because there's an opportunity coming in if you can get outside that comfort zone. So let's get, okay, they want to shuffle the other way. This is a new deck to me, so I'll learn how it likes to be shuffled. There, that's better. All right, so go ahead and choose whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3 will have a meditation for you to get back into the present moment, to celebrate the victory, whatever that is today. And let me tune in to you. Okay, card 1. It says, would you, here's your image. That's the, in fact, it was the one on top earlier. Would you widen your awareness? During everyday life, we alternate attention between the world outside us and the one within us, yet neither tells us all we need to know in any given moment. Practice widening your awareness during a casual conversation. While listening and speaking to your counterpart, the outer world, expand your focus to include all simultaneous physical sensations, the inner world. You might feel peaceful, anxious, sad, joyful, or just basic bodily responses like hunger or thirst. The goal is an easy back and forth between such internal sensations and the dialogue itself. The more you experiment, the wider your awareness will become in every situation. And this Hanged Man is talking about perspective and awareness and getting a different, like on one hand it's talking about getting upside down and seeing the black and the white and flipping those and seeing things from a different vantage point. But it could also be zooming out and seeing things from a higher perspective. And I'm feeling also with that if you are paying attention to your bodily signals, you will get intuitive guidance from your gut as well, and to listen to the way your body responds to people. Okay, card 2. All right, that is your image, and it says, does anyone understand you fully? One of the most important ways we understand ourselves is through reflections from others. Seeing how others see us helps refresh our own self-image. If one or more people in your life view and accept all parts of you, make sure to spend lots of time with them. Pay special attention to aspects of their reflections that make you uncomfortable. That's usually where your blind spots are. If you don't know people who see you fully, make it a priority to seek them out. The more they help you see, the freer you're able to be. And that's what I was talking about, meeting someone that can be a mentor and will see you and know how to best, use what you have. And with this, the Hanged Man talking about getting a different perspective, we always see the world from our own lens. And can you see yourself from someone else's lens? Get up into that tree outside your comfort zone and see things from the outside in. All right, card 3. There's your image. It says, what died for you today? Every living thing must kill other living things to stay alive. Honoring the lives we take as human beings, directly and indirectly, adds a sacred dimension to our pursuit of survival. For 1 week, before you eat each meal, perform a ritual of your own design that honors what died in its preparation. You might say a word of thanks, set aside one forkful not to be consumed, or simply observe a minute of silence. Whatever ritual you create, let it sensitize you fully to the intricate web of existence. This reminds me of an Alan Watts essay I read. It was in Does It Really Matter? Does It Matter? Was the name of the anthology. It was something that was published in the 60s in like Playboy or something, and it was about gratitude for your food and how you owe it to the organism that died to enjoy it fully and to cook it and prepare it in a way that was enjoyable to you. It was really interesting. I recommend reading it. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you. All right, those of you who chose stack 2 or the deer, your theme for the week is retirement. And you have the 9 of Swords, the 7 of Swords, The Ten of Coins, perfect for a retirement reading. And the Magician. Okay, let me get these all into frame while I think. So let's address this Nine of Swords first, because this is an intense negative energy. It's showing fear and depression. And I'm seeing this is the shit that keeps you up at night, basically. And I'm seeing two sources of it. For one, with this retirement card, there's a sense of ongoing and prolonged negative stress. That feeling if you're starting to be like, I can't go on like this anymore. I need to figure out an exit strategy. I need to see the light at the end of the tunnel because I can't keep going in this depleted way. This isn't sustainable. And I also see with the Seven of Swords, there's this fear being tied to fear of being taken advantage of, fear of someone taking something from you, feeling like you can't trust anyone to have your best interests in mind. There's a feeling of not knowing who to trust, if anyone. Now, with this Ten of Coins and the Magician, though, you are being gifted a way out, an incredibly awesome and amazing way out, towards the future that you want. But it requires a shift in consciousness from stockpile mentality to garden mentality. So a stockpile, not hoarding, like if you're stockpiling or if you're prepping or if you're, putting away food and storing things like canned goods or ammo or whatever, money, resources. It's quantitative, it's finite, and therefore it will run out. It has an expiration date. And that's enough to keep anyone in this Nine of Swords energy, this anxiety. It's scarcity consciousness, and it breeds Seven of Swords mistrust, fear that it can be taken. And that's all that can grow in that ground, is that fear, mistrust, and division. Now you have the Magician coming into your orbit. So if you can send out your net and harness that energy, like the Little Prince, takes his net and he catches the shooting star to travel space. That's what these New Age arcanas are. This is energy that's available to you, and if you can harness it while it's there, it can take you where you want to go. The Magician. So you will be well on your way to creating an ever abundant and continually producing garden. Use of your talents to make money, building something. It's instead of stockpiling something that other people have made, which will run out, it's what are you creating that is going to be an ever abundant source. With the Ten of Coins here, though, it's going to serve way beyond you. We're talking about legacy. It's something that's going to keep producing even after you're gone. So it's going to produce enough to sustain you and enough to sustain. It creates so much that it's like you can't take it with you, so it's going to be paid forward. It's learning how to use. The Magician is learning how to use everything at your disposal, being the resources that you do have, whatever they may be, whatever small investment you have, whatever property you have, your mental energy, your ability to strategize and to think clearly and to be logical, your emotions, so it's going to be something, your emotions and your passion, so it's going to be something you have energy to put into and see through and not get bored with. And so it's going to feel good to do in the process, not just be something that sucks to do for a future thing. So it becomes a self-sustaining system, and then you don't have to depend on or trust anybody but yourself. It's like a turtle or a snail. You're like having everything that you need in you, so you don't have to trust anyone. It's like my boyfriend used to be in the Coast Guard, and he said their motto is Semper Paratus, and it's not so much about carrying a heavy burden of having everything you need, but that you can trust yourself to be able to create it and to find it wherever you are. And so then what that does is there's no resentment if others partake, because there's more here than one person can experience. If you can harness all those things. And like I said, switch from stockpile mentality to garden mentality. That's the main takeaway there. All right, so let me tune into you to get your How Now meditation. Card 1. All right, that is your image. Oh, I love it. It's like a tree with the roots. Whose beliefs have you inherited? Beliefs are double-edged swords. They help us navigate our lives, but they can also skew our vision. Often they keep us from experiencing the present moment directly and from grasping accurately what's within us and around us. This is especially true with beliefs we've inherited unconsciously earlier in our development. So let this be the time to break free of unhelpful, outmoded beliefs. Ask yourself, which beliefs am I holding on to from the past that aren't really my own? Who did they first come from? How have I thought them through fully for myself? Do they fit into who I am right now? So is there fear that other people will take advantage of you, fear that you can't trust people, or non-belief of what you're capable of? Has belief that you can create for yourself and that you don't have to stockpile. All right, there's your image for card 2. What brings you the most joy? Joy is not just an end in itself, but also a fuel for all your activities. Don't fall into the trap of considering joy an indulgence or a threat to all less joyful tasks that require your attention. Instead, give yourself time to reminisce and daydream until you've identified what reliably provides you with the most energy, excitement, well-being, and goodwill. Then put the weekly experience of at least one of those pursuits on top of your to-do list. Watch how this increases your insight and effectiveness, making even the most difficult duties much more easy to accomplish. That's kind of what I was talking about with that 4 of Wands. Find something every day to celebrate. And that'll help you get through, like I said at the very beginning, that this isn't sustainable. I don't know how much longer I can do this. And if you are planning something for the future, there is a sense of needing to bridge that gap. How do you get there from here on a daily basis? All right, there is the image for card 3. Do you have good taste? Most of us select what we eat via a combination of desires and shoulds. Rarely do we tap into our body's instant feedback mechanism to identify the right food at the right moment. For one day, put the first bite of any food under your tongue and hold it there for 20 seconds before swallowing. Notice any sensations that occur in your body. If you feel even just a tad worse than you did before, your body is saying, no thank you. If you feel the same or experience a brief uplift, your body is saying, sure, go ahead. Message about intuitive eating there. Okay, so like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you. All right, those of you who chose stack 3 or chose the fox, your theme for the week is volunteer. And you have the 5 of Wands, the 5 of Cups, the 4 of Swords, and the Queen of Swords. Okay then. So with volunteer and the Queen of Swords, your story is what people need right now. What you're volunteering is candid, raw truth about something that you experienced, speaking from experience, and how you overcame something. The 5 of Wands here is going to be talking about, it tells me 2 things about your situation. For one, there may be an internal struggle about priorities, motivations, your reasons for doing something, and sometimes they can be mutually exclusive. Confusion about what it means to be in your integrity when it comes to sharing your story. So a little bit of should I, shouldn't I? If I do, why? What do I hope to gain from it? And for 2, it's telling me that your self-care needs to come first, but couched in the bigger picture of service. Self-care can go sideways into toxicity when it becomes single-minded selfishness. Me, mine, let the world burn. So seeing how you are still part of the whole and taking care of yourself becomes your duty to your family and your community and the planet, not at its expense. So if you struggle with self-care being a selfish act, think of it that way. So to that end, can you share your journey of recovery? And I know it's a journey of recovery because of this 5 of Swords and this 5 of Cups and 4 of Swords. So because it's showing a story where whatever loss you sustained in the past, you did have to do whatever it took to recover. You did what you had to do, whatever that means for you, to take care of yourself, backed off and nurtured yourself and nurtured some aspect of yourself back to health. You had to take what was left after a loss and start over with it. And so there are other people right now that are as lost as you were, or at the same loss that you were, or feeling the same sense of loss and grief that you were. And they need to hear from you is what I'm getting from volunteer. I'm feeling like you need to volunteer your story and volunteer that information and volunteer how you got out of it. In that Queen of Swords, which is not going to be poetic and flowery. It's going to be harsh truth. It's going to be the ugly details. It's going to be plain and simple and straightforward and to the point. Okay, let me get your 3 present moment cards. How now? Let me tune into you. All right. Go ahead and choose now whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3, or all 3, or 1 and 3, 2 and 1. We'll have a message for you about this 4 of Swords, celebrating the present moment, getting back in touch and connecting with the now. Card 1, that is your image. It reminds me of that Queen of Swords. When is breath your best friend? Remember when you were a child and adults told you to take a deep breath to calm and compose yourself. Sometimes such an approach works, but at other times it only represses whatever caused your upset in the first place. Breath becomes your true best friend if you apply an almost opposite approach. Whatever you feel a discomfort of any kind, physical or emotional, try breathing directly into and out of the specific location. Let your inhale expand the constricted area and let your exhale cleanse it of whatever has been stuck there. You'll be amazed at how much relief this simple practice provides. That kind of sounds like what they tell us in yoga, isn't it? Like to breathe into that sore space. Whatever's hurting you or feeling tight, to breathe into it. All right, card 2. That's your image. Will you surrender a story? It's different. We tell ourselves stories all the time. I have to fight for everything I get. No one really loves me. Such interpretations of reality can't possibly be verified, yet they keep us from accepting other, more positive possibilities. Surrendering a story, therefore, is like a freezing breeze. With that in mind, think about an important aspect of your life that you routinely view through the filter of a story. Try surrendering that story for just a day. Discover how you feel when unburdened by the story's constraints. If you truly do feel better, consider surrendering the story for good. So that does actually remind me of this 5 of Wands and this Queen of Swords, where you might be deciding how much honesty you want to have about the story, or do you even want to share it until you've gotten clear on it? And can you be sure that you aren't telling it through certain filters or telling it in a certain way that makes you look good? But can you tell it honestly to yourself before you tell it to others? Card 3. There's your image. What's happening right now? When growing our muscle of present moment awareness, it's helpful to have periodic reminders. A reminder can call us back to attention whenever we're distracted or in a fit of reaction. Sometimes just a 1-second beep can prevent us from spinning out completely. Program your watch or cell phone to beep every 5 to 10, 15, or 20 minutes. Whenever you hear the chime, stop what you're doing for a moment and ask yourself, am I present? What am I feeling in my body? Is there anything at all I'm resisting? What else is happening right now? Personally, that sounds like it would be annoying, but that's what I like to use synchronicities for. If I see a butterfly, then I stop and think. Or if I see, your certain animal, your affinity animal, or certain number sequences, that can be a less intrusive and planned way. But if this is what you need, that's another way to do it. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.